How y'all folks doing this fine day? It's Gator here at the cable company. I'm so glad you stopped in to see me today. Today we're going over the USS Franklin D. Roosevelt CVB, CVA, CV-42. The USS Franklin D. Roosevelt CVB, CVA, CV-42 was the second of three midway-class aircraft carriers. To her crew, she was known as Swanky Frankie, Foodie Roo, or Rosie, with the last nickname probably the most popular. Roosevelt spent most of her active deployed career operating in the Mediterranean Sea as part of the United States Sixth Fleet. The ship was decommissioned in 1977 and was scrapped shortly afterward. She was the first aircraft carrier of the United States Navy to be named in honor of a President of the United States. Isn't that cool? Franklin D. Roosevelt was laid down at the New York Naval Shipyard on December the 1st, 1943. Sponsored by Miss John H. Towers, wife of Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet, christened the ship Coral Sea at the 29th April 1945, launching. On May 8, 1945, President Harry S. Truman approved the Secretary of the Navy's recommendation to rename the ship Franklin D. Roosevelt in honor of the late president, who had died 4 weeks earlier. Roosevelt was commissioned on Navy Day, 27 October 1945. At the New York Naval Shipyard, Captain Apollo Sorkett was the ship's first commanding officer. During her shakedown cruise, Roosevelt called at Rio de Janeiro from 1 to 11 February 1946 to respond, let's put that down, 1946, to represent the United States at the inauguration of Brazilian President Eurico Gaspar Dutra, who came aboard for a short cruise during April and May. Roosevelt participated in the 8th Fleet maneuvers off the East Coast, the Navy's first major post-war training exercise. On the 21st of July 1946, Roosevelt became the first American carrier to operate an all-jet aircraft under controlled conditions. Lieutenant Commander James Davison, flying the McDonnell XFD-1 Phantom, made a series of successful takeoffs and landings as Roosevelt lay off the Cape Henry, Virginia. Jet trials continued in November when Lieutenant Colonel Marion E. Carl, USMC, made 2 catapult launches, 4 assisted takeoffs, and 5 arrested landings in a Lockheed P-80A. Fleet maneuvers and other training operations in the Caribbean preceded Roosevelt's first deployment to the Mediterranean, which lasted from October 1946. Roosevelt, flying the flag of Rear Admiral John H. Kennedy, Commander, Carrier Division 1, led the U.S. Navy force that arrived in Paris on 5th of September 1946. This visit showed U.S. support for the pro-Western government of Greece, which was locked in a civil war with communist insurgents. The ship received thousands of visitors during her calls to many Mediterranean ports. This was the first of 20 Mediterranean deployments Roosevelt would make, initiating an American aircraft presence that would develop into the United States Sixth Fleet. Okay, that's pretty cool, that. Okay. Let's get into her characteristics. She was a midway class aircraft carrier. She had 45,000 tons. Her length was 968 feet. She had a beam of 113 feet. The draft was 35 feet. Her speed was 33 knots, or 38 miles an hour. She had 4,104 officers and men, enlisted men. Armament, she had 8x1, 5-inch 54 caliber Mark 16 guns, 21 40 millimeter Volpers, 60 caliber guns, and she carried 137 aircraft. I want to appreciate every one of you just stopping out here to see me. You know this documentary. What was this documentary if I haven't taught you anything else? What is this documentary for? For what? Huh? Let's do it like this. Does anybody know what I'm going to say? What's the rest of it? What's the rest of it? Put it in the chat if you know what I was talking about. Right there. That's what we want to salute those that have served and are serving for our freedom. Don't ever forget that, people. I appreciate you so much. Come on back and see me. I'll see you next Friday. I'll be here, be square, okay? I love you. Come on back. Bye-bye for now.